Hello, everyone. This is RUY along with.
Frisky cow. Moo.
No. Or if you're watching it off of Frisky Cow's channel. Oh, crap. I accidentally muted AirMech because I have to unmute it. There you go. Sorry.
Sloppy.
Yes, whatever. But if you're watching off Frisky Cow's channel, this is actually Frisky Cow with RUY, etc.
All of the above. Either way, this is a 1v1 on everyone's favorite map, Nesthorn.
It seems we've decided to cast every single Nesthorn game together as if it was a shared torture experience.
I think it's honestly the only way to make this a tolerable map is if you can just try to make light and just kind of forget that the game exists for a little bit.
Right, kind of sad sack it, just a little bit. Hey, Happy Death's going with moneymakers. That kind of makes sense.
If it's going to be a long game, yeah.
Yeah.
But considering it's Nesthorn, you know, I think he's onto something here.
I would try to look at the loadouts, but every time I do nowadays, it pisses me off because you can't switch to whatever their loadout 2 is, so I just won't.
That is some of the least effective harass I think I have ever seen in a high-level game.
Didn't he kill one?
He killed a moneymaker.
Right.
Yes. But what cost? He's moved absolutely no units for the past 90 seconds.
It's very, very low cost on Nesthorn.
What has he got to lose, really, other than
basically
the game?
We'll see about that. It's funny because
Dropping Buckies.
yeah. So let me just precursor this entire match so far with what the funny thing to me is. Happy Death submitted this game to me saying, "Man, we played such a unique Nesthorn game." But if you see in the comments that he submitted, he was basically saying, never mind. Because he rewatched it, apparently. So it felt like it could potentially be a unique Nesthorn game. But really, they're all this freaking same thing.
Quote, P.S. Super boring. Yes.
Yeah, that's literally what he said.
That is literally what he said. And here we are.
Indeed. Why we decided to actually cast this after that comment, we probably hate ourselves, but that's okay. I mean, it's for your enjoyment, people, so whatever. Oh, he's gonna try the fairy over.
So we've got Dillos and Buckies versus Buckies and Longhorn, but Osprey versus Striker. Striker naturally being the big meta mech. Is he actually going to get killed here?
I think so.
No.
No, I forgot about the whole jumping thing.
Just mash spacebar.
Yeah. I still want to know the whole reason behind adding that. Like, I think
it's cool.
I think that's
probably the only reason.
You're probably right. Realistically speaking, you're probably right.
That's it's one of those features that just gets added when the devs are bored.
Maybe. But they had to create animations for it, so they actually had to put effort in, meaning it wasn't just a whim type of thing that they did it off of, so.
Can you identify a problem that adding jumping solved? It does make it harder to get killed, which I know is a freaking complaint.
Well,
so easy.
But so here's what I see when it comes to that. You can only really avoid dying if you're really good, or not, if you're a decent level jump spammer, which new players are not going to be. So it doesn't even help the whole new players getting killed too much thing.
Oh, that Bucky carnage really just hits a nerve. Buckies.
Earlier Maor was like there was like 10 Buckies firing into that T-99, and it still didn't die because of the Osprey.
Happy to paying the iron price for that micro. All of these Dillos going to go down.
He's actually pretty far behind, considering like 30 to 20 or so.
I mean, if there were anyone of Happy Death, I would say Red's lost.
Yeah, but it's Happy Death, so
all Green has to do is spam a bunch of units that move and take the next outpost because there's a single armadillo defending it.
Also, don't move for the entirety of that entire time. The whole spamming. because it's Nesthorn.
Yeah.
You just don't move. When you have mid, you sit there.
Because the typical exchange, what I feel this inherent urge to do is in that moment where no units afield, you've got an advantage, you've got the outpost up, you've killed all his units, and he's dead, waiting to respawn. Spam some birds or jackal or something. Get something else. But instead, he's going to plant tanks against socketed T-99s and an Osprey. This is going to end well for him, I'm sure.
Yeah. On a side note, you sound kind of robotic.
Really?
That's Discord, probably. Do I sound robotic to you?
No, not at all.
Oh, well,
All
never
this
mind.
means is my recording will be better.
Ah, okay. That's a good point. I never thought of it that way, and I should have.
We'll blame the internet.
So, yeah, we have a lot of
This is
time to
Nesthorn.
complain here. Yeah.
This is Nesthorn in a nutshell. I'm honestly surprised that neither player has whipped out the Aegis yet to nullify all the buggy fire.
Well,
I guess the Osprey don't really give a crap.
you know what's funny when you so when you stare at it, because the Buckies have to fire over the Nesthorn cliffs, the up-down randomization really hits a little harder. So you see them not connecting as much, running into all the terrain.
Which is ironic because they actually don't have any intentional up-down randomness to those missiles. It's just part of the will.
Right, they have it's a 360 circular, up, down, left, right, diagonal, whatever degree randomization. Yeah.
It has a tendency to wiggle in any direction. Makes it look better.
It took a really long time for me to understand that when Ken explained it, but I get it now.
But I agree that it makes the aesthetics look kind of cool. Like there's a giant spider web creeping into that T-99 that's being healed from 3 different sources simultaneously.
Yeah, it does
while
look
also
cool.
being socketed. That T-99's never going to go down, man.
There's 4.
What I would really love to see is a socketed Aegis on the socket right behind it.
He probably doesn't have it, I'm guessing.
Ah,
I mean, who brings Aegis? I guess.
it's not a real push. He's just trying to get the Buckies closer.
And he's putting the heavy mines down. Wow. Yeah, heavy mines. Did you see any of those recent games on Hawk's new map? By the way.
Yeah.
Where the
When you're forced into a narrow corridor like that, heavy mines just you cannot move. It's not an option. And the
Right.
heavy mines become really spammable on a map like that. You know, it's basically this where you can't fly over the gap. It's like Nesthorn, but worse.
Right, but it's kind of like the gimmick that he threw into that map, and actually he threw some like holes into the mountains so you can bypass it to a degree. The reason I bring that up is because to me it's funny since heavy mines are really effective on that map, but Nesthorn does that naturally, without it's not really the gimmick of the map. It's just it sucks.
And so, like, not to say the Canyon's a bad map, because even though you have all those tight alleys, there are more than one of them.
He renamed it to the Labyrinth, by the way.
Labyrinth now?
Yeah, well.
Fine. Labyrinth.
Yeah, but it does give you the paths out. You can do the whole ferry off to the sides, or there's a lot more. It's not just the single lane down the middle, so.
They are trying to snipe any kind of sockets he can. Not gonna get it.
Yeah. So yeah, literally like 75% of this map, wherever you put a heavy mine, will 100% be in the push path of the tank, which is terrible.
I think heavy mines are part of the reason that you can't push on this map. Admittedly, even if heavy mines did not exist, you could not push on Nesthorn.
Well, before they even were close to being in their current meta usage, yeah, Nesthorn was the same way. So, yes, that is true. They just made it worse, though. It was always like that for the most part.
I can't tell how many times I've lost Nesthorn just because I wanted to put forward. I was ready.
Yeah. I mean, anytime I've played Nesthorn, I always do the push fairy thing. Knowing full well that it's very much gonna make me lose, or likely. But I still like to do it anyway because it's fun. It's like the only fun thing on this map.
I've also noticed whoppers are completely meta.
They're,
How does that make you feel? Knowing that you can just increase your unit upkeep cap in exchange for a socket.
So if this was 3 or 4 years ago, it would make me feel very angry and complaining. Complaining. It would make me want to complain. But now I've basically accepted the reality of this game and how it plays, so I'm fine with it. Is that sad?
Wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting a little bit more rage.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
oh well.
Again, if it was a couple years ago,
Again, on the
probably...
one sense, they are still fairly fragile. So if you're going against somebody who's completely socketed whoppers all over the place, it's one or two basically keep them from defending.
Have I run by you my bring back sockets idea?
When you say bring back sockets, I mean we've got sockets all over this map.
Socketable economy units, the way that they were, to the importance that they were before, like in the earlier days of AirMech.
Oh, where moneymakers or generators were basically a required thing.
Yep. I haven't run that by you, no?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
How would you plan on doing that, other than just making moneymakers better? And is making them required part of the point, where, you know, taking socketable units is pretty much something you have to do to be viable?
Yes and no. So I want socketable economy units to be the primary source of that specific aspect of the economy. So I personally would rather have moneymakers be your primary income, whoppers to be your primary source of upkeep, etc. Even bot spawners
rather than outpost control, just literally make the game's economy revolve around the units you build, so that's basically completely customizable.
Sort of, yeah. So you can actually have, I mean, especially with the way that the outposts are now, they basically give you everything, which, I mean, it basically makes economy linked, the strategy of your economy linked exactly to your map approach, which there's no thought behind it. So it would be nice to have the player have to consciously choose what aspect of their economy they would like to invest in. And the biggest problem with that in AirMech is that there are limited loadout slots. So you would literally have, like, 7 slots of your 16-unit loadout occupied by socketable units, right? That's a bad thing.
I feel like a UI change could make that very accessible. So there was an older strategy game called Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth, where instead of like building structure in a typical base building game, you had preset plots, basically sockets where buildings go. And to choose what building goes, you click on the plot, and it just gives you a radial selection. Put whatever building there you want.
You know what? That is actually...
Click on the socket, and then click on the moneymaker picture.
That is what I was thinking to do before. And that was that's really what I was going to try to convince the devs to implement. But I figure the easiest, most straightforward thing to do is to force a third loadout that you cannot change that just has economy sockets.
Did this guy just try to push on Nesthorn?
And he pushed toward the post instead of the fort. It's kind of funny, with all those goalies.
I mean, if you're going to push from that position, I don't know. I feel like you go all or nothing on the fort, because it's very easy to just come back to the stalemate position.
It's actually even in upkeep right now. I really hope these people have devastators and nukes, because otherwise it's going to be like this forever.
Well, I don't know. They have teched up into Goliath, so I would expect to see some Berthas soon. Happydeath's selling all of Archie, but I would assume he's about to just pump out some Berthas. Either that, or he recognizes the futility of this, and he's just going to sit back with Goliath and for Mayor to just overextend.
I'm surprised that Happydeath still has Dillos out on the field, because I would think that at this stage of the game, Dillos are for fort dropping, and that's it. And Mayor's gonna get
I wonder
away.
truly how valuable. Of course. What'd you expect?
Yeah.
I have to wonder about the value of makers because they pay themselves back after maybe a minute, something along those lines. It's 15 minutes into the game now, so Happy Death has at least 4 or 5 more tanks worth of credits represented here. But along the same lines, I really don't feel like it's making any difference.
Well, hold on. Let's check the stats. Happy Death has killed 13 units, and Maor has killed 26. So, you could account for that just by the fact that Maor's a striker, so he killed a lot more. I don't know.
Yeah, but I definitely saw him sword down some Buckies and some creeps.
Yeah. I mean, you might have a good point here. Happy Death and Maor are actually sitting on a similar amount of credits, so it's not like, basically, if Happy Death did spend and produce more, they are not being represented either in his bank or on the field right now. So I'm pretty sure Maor had to kill them at some point.
7 Archies does not seem to be particularly effective against 2 Goliaths at longest maximum range.
Nope, I'm a little surprised. Oh yeah, he's selling them off and making a Devastator. There we go. Well, he made a Devastator.
And Devastator is also going to be fairly unimpressive. Happy Death did start switching into Berthas, so that was kind of expected. So just getting the bigger, heavier units.
Little weird.
At what point does it fit them to go the other direction and say, oh, well, now that you've got all guys and Devastators, I'm just going to spam Jokers?
That actually would work, if you think about it. Well, I don't know. Maor's a striker, so he could sword stuff down.
Until he drops a single gag.
Or a Tesla tower, so.
He has a socketed ultimate gaddy on his forward outpost.
And
that little shred at anything.
Trying to ferry the single Devastator over. Okay, trying to support it with a couple gaddies. There's so much crap that Happy Death has over there, though, so.
This is where Mayor is wishing he was the Osprey.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised.
Wow, those afterburners are so good for ferrying, though.
Afterburners are too good for everything. They're too universal. Because it makes your movement faster. What do you do basically 99% of the time in AirMech? Fly the hell around and do stuff, so.
I actually literally can't think of any time where it benefits you to be completely still and not moving. Like, even when you're over an outpost, you should still be doing, like, little circles to dodge airfire.
Basically, yeah. Even when you're... So, obviously you won't benefit from afterburners doing that, but... Flying from post to post...
The afterburner, getting all those Goliaths and stuff over really fast.
Yeah. I'm not really sure how to nerf afterburner to make it more... reasonable, I guess. But, whatever. Ooh, you know what? Nuke would be a nice addition to the, forced economy slots loadout.
Now, if you did that, would you make all socketed units free?
No.
And that it just takes a certain amount of time to pop out of the ground and be useful?
I don't think so, because, it would make it too important to occupy 100% of your sockets, if you get what I'm saying.
And then how do you prevent your teammate from putting a T-45 in every single socket?
I don't care about that because that's the same problem as any coordination in AirMech, so not important. Plus, you can take them out.
But you build, okay, so they're produced on the socket, but you can take them out of the socket and put them other places.
Yes. It's used exactly like they are used now. Just you have a loadout that is socket units only, or economy sockets only, or whatever. However you want to fill the 8, but it would be forced.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then you can start rebalancing the whole socket, how much moneymakers cost and how much the income is, whoppers, build, you can start rebalancing every aspect of it with that in mind.
So for the record, Mayoras here snipes 3 whoppers. Happy Death can build no units in response. Let's see if there's going to be any momentum from this, or if the stalemate continues. Want to take a bet?
I don't, unless you give me the obvious bet. Yeah.
And Devastators are even more disappointing because they don't actually have the range to shoot across the gap. So they're literally just there to try and absorb fire from the larger artillery on Happy Death's side.
Yeah. I feel like 1v1 Nesthorn is worse than anything because you don't have another mech to distract or to team up with good timing and, force a quick cheese. You're just you. And the other guy's always there. He's always there. There's no surprises.
2v2 and 3v3, usually you have enough concentrated fire to take a player down, even when they're over their outpost. 1v1, killing a player is very hard to do without spamming an unwise amount of anti-air units.
Yes, and
so it's hard to really capitalize in that way.
And in 3v3, there's going to be some stupidness when it comes to how things are balanced, and like, for example, how fast you can cheese an outpost in 3v3 if you're actually coordinated. But I would much rather take that over this.
Hey, you remember when we changed it so that creeps could have orders, and we said, oh man, stacking creeps is going to be way too strong. Everyone's going to do that, and all these level 4 creeps are just going to shred everything.
I do remember that being brought up, yes.
Do you think it's going to work this time?
My answer to that specific question is no.
Oh man, and Mayor has got whoppers in just about every socket.
I haven't even
presumably
looked.
Happy Death's got whoppers in almost every socket. He's phasing his moneymakers out as well, so this is going to be max upkeep versus max upkeep. I think that's truly what we're waiting for here, is once each player hits max upkeep, starts floating somewhere around 80k credits, then they can start being a little bit more aggressive with their units. Right now, if they lose something, they can't replace it in 90 seconds, so there's no sense just stretching their necks out.
How would you feel about a build speed increase socket unit?
Oh my. It would be very exciting.
Indeed.
I feel like the game as we know it would completely change.
Only at first. See, everything is messed up at first because you don't know how it's going to interact with the rest of the game.
You don't know what it's going to affect. Yeah,
yeah,
it's going to have
hard.
This butterfly effect through everything.
Right, but after playtesting and balancing, it'll settle.
Because one of my ideas, ages past, was that outposts would massively increase your build speed when you got them, with not much of an impact on your upkeep. Because right now, outposts are largely revolving around upkeep, so if you have an outpost advantage, you just have a bigger army, where I think it would be cool if outposts, instead of giving you more upkeep, just made your army more replaceable, give you a big credit boost, and give you a big build speed boost. And if nothing else, it keeps the game moving.
So maybe like a super factory.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Factories still give you upkeep, so a super factory without the upkeep.
Oh, this is just a hilarious micro fight right now, and Maor only has Devastators, and Happy Death has a good mix of stuff. I don't know if he can. He got a Devastator kill.
Blade Guardians. He did, but then again, I mean, he's got his own Devastator just sitting there pounding it.
Yeah. 50.
I like how in 1v1 you can just leave the screen on one spot and you're really not missing anything.
Yeah. It's the easy way to
has
cast.
That spectacular death animation.
Oh yes, the fireworks one. Oh god, the Necro's coming out. Oh god.
You know, that is beautiful, but at the same time, why are you not doing anything with these tanks? They have wheels.
Well, they move so slow.
If they were Longhorn, I see, like, push left. For the love of God, push left.
Yeah.
Then drop and snipe all the walkers you know he's got on every single undefended outpost.
You know,
But
at one point,
I'm not the guy who wins every game I play, so...
Yeah, what you're saying right now might be a terrible idea.
Of course it's a terrible idea. It's Nesthorn. For all we know, there's 25 heavy mines right there.
For all we know, doing anything on Nesthorn's a terrible idea.
Actually, playing Nesthorn alone is a pretty questionable life choice.
Oh, hey, they're about to base race? Or is he actually setting these on capture? Because... Or he's gonna pull back? Oh, God.
Interesting. That's... No, wouldn't want to push
back?
forward.
Yeah.
I guess because he saw Happy Death has got 2 Devastators of his own.
Why end the game? Why attempt to end the game? It's just... And Happy Death got himself killed by the Devastator. That's funny.
Which is a total shame, because Happy Death really has a good thing going on that left-hand side, if only it had some support and healing. So something to say, stop the push when it got to a reasonable place and not be completely distracted by this mech.
Oh god, that's a lot of explosions.
That's a surprising number of explosions. You know, these Buckies are proving very effective against that Devastator.
Well, it had forever to during the approach.
What an anticlimactic push.
Indeed.
And despite Happy Death losing multiple Devastators, multiple Goliaths, and multiple, well, literally everything he had in his army, for basically free,
well,
here he is, still in a complete stalemate position,
yeah,
pumping out more Devastators.
There has been virtually no change in the control and the position in the game. Actually, Happy Death, this has been beneficial to Happy Death, only in the sense that he's able to creep up on mid more.
It forced Mayor to fall back and do something else with his mech for a little bit.
For a little bit.
Allowing Happy Death to capitalize.
I guess I enjoyed the Necros. That was... Is he actually pushing or what? Because...
I think it's a custom waypoint just to get around into range.
Yeah, he's super low on health. Oh god. Oh, he survived. Oh boy.
Interesting. He didn't stop them. That is very surprising. Okay. Well.
So he is keeping on going. Okay.
Interesting. Oh, right, the Buckies hold position when they come into range. So those Buckies will actually clear house if Happy Death doesn't kill them first.
That is funny, but it's Bucky's, so...
It is Bucky's.
Yeesh. 34-38. Still pretty even. Still pretty even.
Surprisingly even.
Like, disturbingly even.
You know, what really surprises me about this game and the current state right now? Count how many anti-air units each player has right now.
Oh, I mean, yeah, basically none.
No Seekers, no Gorgons, no Flackers, no Hats.
Well, as far as I'm aware, Gaddies have kind of replaced dedicated AA because they can shred mechs decently, and they double up very, very well as anti-light and anti-infantry. So, there are you did see Gaddies throughout this game. So, yeah.
I'm just thinking to myself, man, if for 2 years ago, think of how much Seekers would prevent us hopping around killing all your tanks.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. Although skilled players are
been eclipsed.
Skilled players are really good at using the terrain to not get hit by missiles, though. With this jumping around thing. Wait, what? I'm sorry. What happened?
It looks like Mayor's fort just got killed by nothing in particular.
So he just surrendered because he was tired of playing?
You know, that's about the way Nesthorn should end, honestly.
No, I mean, I guess he... Well, here's the funny thing. He still had that clump of goalies heading to the fort, right?
That may have gotten taken out. I mean, Happy Death did have kind of a clear advantage.
Sure, but I figured you'd at least let that run. I didn't see it getting taken out.
The fact that it was Nesthorn, I think, just made him say, okay, even if he does manage to come back, it's gonna take an hour and a half. So is it really worth it, or do you just hop back into the matchmaking queue?
That's probably a good point. I feel like so. If it were me and I saw Nesthorn, I would just exit the game immediately, and then
I'm with
queue.
you.
You know, do you want to try the next game?
Sure.
God. Okay. Let's go.
GG.
013_P0. Ah, I am paused at a minute, Frisky. Again.
One sec. And I gotta find my brand new ARM file. Click. Click. I am paused at 60 seconds negative. This is Overkill and Sergeant on Nesthorn, correct?
Indeed, yes. And we'll go in 3, 2, 1, go. I guess we
Alas. Welcome to hell.
Yeah, we were probably going to say roughly the same thing, but we'll see. Hopefully this is, I don't know, more interesting.
Hopefully this is a great 1v1 on Nesthorn.
Oh my god, it's Striker versus Osprey again. Oh my god.
But at least the Striker has an attractive, fluffy pebble head.
What? Wait, what is that?
It's the dog.
Oh, yeah, the, Doge, right? Is that what that is?
Well, maybe. It's probably just a regular dog, honestly.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, opening with Dillos, similar to Happy Death. And opening with Longhorn, similar to Maor. Great. This is...
Osprey must have a good synergy with Dillos, then.
Maybe.
I guess you can carry more of them.
That's a good point, yeah. And you're...
being able to drop 4 thing can get some interesting combos.
And you're more likely to keep them alive if you get a little negligent on the micro?
Overkill sticking with the traditional Longhorn, but has no energy to do anything with them, so puts 2 on a return command on a custom waypoint. Interesting.
Bucky's already firing in for Sergeant. A bunch of them hitting the wall. Longhorn with no healing units. 0.
Well, yeah, this isn't looking good, but all 4 Longhorn are still alive.
Oh, hey, wow, that was pretty cool. He grabbed the 2 low health ones, even though they were mixed in. That was a nice little micro.
It could be one of those pros who binds his pickup key separate from his put-down key.
Indeed. I do that, but only because I have a mouse that has multiple buttons.
That is a pretty pro move if you can execute it properly. I fail.
Do you do that, Frisky?
I have attempted in the past.
To separate your pickup button and your,
And then I forget which one's which.
Nah. I see.
So I just kind of mash space endlessly.
I see. Before I got a gaming mouse, I used to use the number pad plus button. Right. It's right there next to your, you know how you use number pad to build units. So I was used to taking my hand off the mouse, putting it on the number pad. So I used plus. Yeah, yeah. I still use plus, but
your mouse is used to determine the facing of the units. I feel weird.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I still use the same button, but I just bound it to a mouse button now. Anyway.
Sergeant kind of with a better position at mid here, kind of got the better unit composition. He's got healing units in here, longer range Buckies. Now, Overkill probably just going to wipe all this out if he can get in there.
Still 0 healing for Overkill, though. I mean, it's pure tank, so if he pushes directly in, he might have a good chance of winning. He is playing against an Osprey, but it's, you know, it's worth a shot, I think, especially considering the position and the unit comps right now.
He's taking a lot of damage over time that he probably doesn't even realize right now just from those Buckies.
That's true.
I'm thinking Overkill is going to have to build his game around trying to hit things other than the mid-fight.
It's very rare to see no healing units. He just brought some out, but And then he
And then
brought
he
them back.
immediately carts them back.
He literally, it was just one, too. Just one.
I think it was a misclick.
Probably. The Longhorn's gonna die. That Longhorn, no! Oh, yeah, I did.
Ooh,
So he is
tried
pushing
to drop
in.
the Gaddy behind, but it immediately gets killed. This is more like a desperation push, but we'll see how Sergeant
Ugh.
reacts. That's not pretty.
I think it's
That's
a little
not pretty.
late for that type of push after the Buckies and the Busters soften up the Longhorns so much.
Yeah, now that Sergeant's got a line of Busters, that was just a shooting line. So it's good to see Overkill pulling back rather than literally lose everything and just do the GG.
Ooh, Assassin's going down, though, if you saw that. That's pretty cool. I think,
But
personally...
where did they go? What
right,
did they do?
Right behind the unit clump on the left.
Oh, behind. So he sniped a Buster, and that was that.
No. Right behind the Overkill's unit clump on the left. So he's massing them up.
On the left.
Yes. And now he's pushing out with the Assassins.
Interesting.
And
That could
zippers
be
for
cool.
distract. A little bit early on the drop, but, you know.
If there wasn't a Gaddy there, I'd say that's excellent. But there is.
And he stopped it. He needs to push further in, I think. Trying to distract with his own mech and jumping, but he's so low on health. It's so scary.
Working okay. I mean, he's taking heavy casualties and really not inflicting many.
I question
Man,
the
this
use
is
of...
like watching myself.
I question the use of radar guardians on a map like Nesthorn.
Well, to be fair, radar guardians on a map like Nesthorn means he arguably sees the entire map right now.
But the necessity to do so is... That's what I'm questioning. You know...
It's not about necessity, it's
okay.
about the lulls.
Okay.
Sergeant responding with zippers of his own. What is he, a madman?
It's... you know what? If you mass up enough zippers on Nesthorn, they will get all the way to the opposite side of the map faster than any other unit.
You know, you're not wrong. But Overkill has already demonstrated that he has one Gaddy, which will be able to hard counter all of these zippers simultaneously.
Drat you and your logic. Will he make it? Yep.
Probably.
The whole dropping a unit to get back to your post so you don't die, healing up and picking it up again has been... The effectiveness of that has been dramatically exacerbated with afterburners.
Yes. You're not wrong. And here he comes with the afterburner, saving another Gaddy.
Yeah. Well, let's see how Sergeant takes this.
I do appreciate Overkill's decision to not get any artillery or Buckies or anything that generally has a longer range than the chasm itself.
I'm a little disappointed to see that he even mixed in a couple of Gaddies with that almost pure Longhorn composition, because going pure Longhorn, risking the fact that you don't have any other counters and just doing a strong push in might have actually worked pretty well.
That distract is so good versus those red defending units. And despite the fact that Sergeant had a pretty good occupying force there, Overkill manages to completely wipe out and neutralize that outpost.
I mean, it used to be his to begin with, but yeah, he took it back. Not yet.
Couple zippers on follow command.
Well, that would be a very interesting unit. Did you have any unpleasant leather jacket times in your head when you said that?
In my head, no.
Okay. So Sergeant. Okay, interesting. He's gonna do. Oh, he's gonna do a ferry over. I think. I hope, because I really don't think anything else could come of this.
Maybe. I think he's not gonna ferry them over.
Yeah, he's being distracted right now, so that's.
I don't think he's gonna.
So where the hell are they going? Was he just trying to get them to mid without having to ferry them to mid? Because that only saved him like, I don't know, 4 seconds.
I think he is trying to do a ferry over.
Oh, there we go. And he sent them back.
Just distracted from it.
He sent them back. He did a fallback command, I think. Oh no, never mind.
They did a custom waypoint.
Yeah.
I do really like the custom waypoint feature.
I do as well.
It works pretty well.
I would love it if they could make it bindable. Yeah.
Turns out he was only doing that for defense. He just didn't want Overkill to ferry over himself. Sergeant, I guess, cognizant of the fact that he holds mid, why should he be the one to attack?
And with that realization, you have made me sad. No. He's creating
is he doing it?
a line and putting the Buckies up. So there is an offensive motivation behind this unit positioning.
Overkill with the tactical lunch behind.
Tactical lunch. Is that the kind of lunch that Navy SEALs eat? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
It is. As he starts to socket brutes in that outpost, combined with the lunchbox, I'm really not sure any number of Buckies is going to be enough. And Stryker can still shoot missiles out of the air, right?
Yes. I don't know if Bucky missiles are a part of that, though. Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are.
He's definitely shooting missiles.
He's definitely shooting them, yeah.
All he has to do is spam the air fire, and this fight will never end. Those artillery really not doing a whole lot of damage either.
I'm kind of curious as to why, what the idea might be to, behind combining Buckies and artillery. You got any?
Overkill going to do his own ferry over. I think combining the Buckies and artillery is weird.
Yeah.
Usually it's you pick one or the other. You bring them both. Buckies generally outperform artillery until there's some kind of Aegis in play
or mech
kind of
interference. Yeah.
Yeah. Buckies are so much easier to snipe. Artillery get more splash damage, but overall Buckies just tend to have a little bit better DPS into a large unit clump if they're uncountered. So combining the two at the same time is probably just a little bit more. I got them both in my loadout. Might as well build them both. I don't think he's making a conscious decision to mix them both.
This was potentially successful until Overkill ran out of energy. Grabbing creeps, though. Okay, he'll take it. He'll take it.
I think he's going to pick it up, because the Gaddies killed all the zippers from Sergeant. I think Overkill's going to lock this post down.
Ooh, Brutes dropped behind. That is danger. So, that was nice.
Not the smartest units.
Indeed.
Literally anything gets behind them, and they're just toast.
Whoops. So now Overkill doing the awesome alternative to trying to hold it down, which is shifting focus to another opponent's outpost. So
I would have thought he's gonna drop something on the fort. This right undefended fort, the only building in the entire game which actually matters for determining who wins.
Yeah. That would have also been an acceptable similar approach.
But he didn't put anything on it, not even a creep. So this is unusual prioritization from both players, really. Sergeant, I guess, thinking that Overkill has completely locked that down with defending units, instead opting to do his own counterattack, which
has proven to be very effective. Well, I think it's working. I mean,
Brutes are tough, though. Brutes versus Gaddy.
That's true, the
Brutes.
Brutes.
So much health, he's going to be able to take it back.
No, I don't think so. There's way too much here. And Sergeant had way too many units to use over there. But I think Overkill might actually be putting pressure on the fort at this point.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yes. Do it.
Indeed. Sergeant neutralizing it.
And
wait, what the hell? Oh, he's taking the Dillos back to defend.
Right.
He's taking the Dillos back to defend.
I want to see Sergeant do something with that big clump of units that's still positioned for long-ranging the forward outpost from Overkill.
I haven't looked at it for a long time, with basically so I don't get my hopes up.
Well, he's upcape capped, and he can't do anything with the units he has because they're just completely way out of position.
But remember, this is AirMech, and it's safer to not use your units instead of use them.
So long as there's a mech dancing right here, none of these Dillos will get any damage in.
Yeah, he could. I mean, he could just set all the rest of his units on the map on attack. That would be cool.
I think Overkill might win with this paltry force because Sergeant just can't fight the mech harass with anything.
If he took 5 seconds to fly around to his units, hit attack, 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 and then fly back to defend, this would be...
Then I think it would be a good base race then.
I don't think it would be a base race. I think Sergeant would clearly win because he can keep this up for a decent amount of time.
He's also Osprey, so the survivability of his units is a lot better. But Overkill's just going to keep following him around, bunny hopping, and distracting anything he drops. Now, Overkill is auto-deploying assassins this whole time and having them on the follow command, so everything that Sergeant drops is going to get assassinated.
That is hilarious. I didn't even realize that was happening, but yeah.
I mean, that's what Overkill's doing this whole time, is just spamming assassins out of that forward outpost and having them call to his position.
Yeah, this is over. This is over. Sergeant could just go to his units and hit attack right now.
He's still got 3/4 of his health left. Now, what do we do? What do we call it when someone keeps doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results? That's right. It's called confidence.
I was gonna say it's
Sergeant
called
is very
AirMech,
confident.
Okay. Building the Whoppers, so he can increase his upkeep so he can build more defense.
Yeah, because his upkeep is completely eaten up still. He's 44 out of 44 because all of his units are still at mid and then top post. He just needs to put them on attack.
I just would like to draw attention to the fact that Overkill is still 8 upkeep under Sergeant right now. Sergeant has, I don't know, 10, 11 more units worth of upkeep on the field right now than Overkill. But that doesn't matter.
The fact that Sergeant is still alive, I think, only emphasizes more how he could have been making this a competitive running right here.
Yeah, but that's thinking too hard. Wow, all of Overkill's units,
that
except for the one... Yeah.
That mech distract is so good.
They're still so high health. Oh my god. This is the most excruciating thing I've seen in a long, long time. Oh god.
I mean, I think Sergeant is just panicking here.
Well, he's being an Osprey.
At this point, he really can't salvage it.
Realistically, he could have dropped and started firing at long... And with no healing over at this unit clump that Overkill has, Sergeant could have just shot at the Longhorn, healed up at his fort, rinsed and repeated as much as possible, and
could have.
Yeah.
Didn't.
There was a lot of different options that could have turned out better for him, I think. But...
So, what about this particular game depresses you the most?
Oh, gosh, golly gosh. Well, the thing I mentioned at the end is definitely up there. The fact that that Sergeant had way more units on the field than Overkill, upkeep-wise, especially. And the fact that the vast majority of those units have wheels. That's one. That's one that makes me sad. Yeah.
Wheels that were left static.
Indeed, indeed.
The thing that depresses me the most, besides it being Nesthorn, that being the clear winner, is that Sergeant actually did have the higher match score.
That is true.
As far as Bobland's concerned, Sergeant's the better player here.
But look at the second stat and compare those. Damage dealt. Sergeant 6,600. Overkill 69,000. More than 10 times more damage dealt by his mech.
That may be true, but see, the mech on the right was holding the right mouse button. The mech on the left was holding the left mouse button.
I forgot about that. That's true. So maybe these scores do make total sense.
Exactly. Now you have it. I think I'm going to go cry.
I think I'm gonna go drown my sorrows in food. Is probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if I have ice cream or something like that.
Oh man.
Okay. Here I've decided. the thing that has made me the most is it most sad is saddest a word? Yeah, saddest.
It is now.
Sad. Yeah, okay. Across both of these games is now realizing that Nesthorn is still in the map pool. Like there, and that's not as bad on just on face value until you consider the fact that they have taken maps out of the map pool. That has happened.
There have been things removed from circulation, and
Yeah.
Nesthorn was never one of them. Someone somewhere said, this is really too good of a map to let go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, Frisky, I appreciate your time.
Thank you for spending your lovely evening with me.
And thank you, viewers, for spending almost an hour being tortured along with Frisky Cow and I. And enjoy the rest of your day, whoever you are out there.
Amen.
Peace.